Like water, an essential fluid for life, so is our blood. Within the medical field, blood donations are highly relied upon for use in various life-saving medical procedures. Blood donations are very necessary because there is no substitute for blood. We can't just manufacture more when we run out, so we rely on other healthy people to donate some of theirs. Before we can answer the question of why is there no substitute for blood, we need to understand what blood is and what are its functions. Blood is a very special fluid within the body that services all the vital organs and tissues. It is transported throughout the body by blood vessels of various types. Blood carries nutrients, minerals, proteins, oxygen, regulates body temperature, and also removes waste such as carbon dioxide. Blood accomplishes all this because of the various components and their specific functions. The major components of blood are red and white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Each component plays a key role in maintaining our body and ensuring it functions optimally, like our red blood cells, which carries oxygen to our organs, while our white blood cells, which work as part of our immune system, carries disease-fighting antibodies. Platelets are cell fragments which help to form clots and help to stop bleeding or blood loss. And plasma, which is a very significant component of blood. Plasma is the major fluid portion where all the other components are kept and transported within. Aside from cells, plasma also contains water, salts, enzymes, nutrients, hormones, antibodies, clotting factors, and proteins. Plasma is yellowish in color. However, whole blood is red. Whole blood is blood with all the components intact, such as the oxygen-filled red blood cells, which contain hemoglobin, which causes it to look red. I say intact because the components of blood can be separated. That is why when we donate blood, they sometimes specify they need plasma, which can be separated from the other components through a process called plasmapheresis. Okay, a lot to unpack there. Let's recap what we've learned so far. So far, we've established that blood is a special fluid within the body that has many components and with very specific functions, and that they can be extracted and separated for a specific use based on their properties. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Our blood is not universal. There are different groups and different types. To make it simple, blood groups are identified by the presence or absence of A or B antigen on the red blood cells. Specific blood types are further specified by the Rh status of the individual, which can either be positive or negative. With that, we end up with 4 blood groups and 8 blood types. Even though blood on a whole is not universal, there is one specific type that is. Type O negative, while type AB negative is the rarest of them all, with only about 1% of donors having it. The reason why there is no substitute for blood is a cause of 2 factors: functionality and compatibility. Creating all the components of blood and getting them to function like they should is the challenge. Like red blood cells again, for example, they carry oxygen as a core function. For the red blood cells to do that, scientists would need to create another component of the cell itself, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein and it is what actually carries the oxygen. Scientists would have to be able to engineer something similar and be able to program it to function as it should. The problem with that is, we are not talking about a piece of mechanical component. We are talking about cells, a living organism. Because cells are a living organism, blood also has a shelf life, another challenge added. Preserving it for future use if it is to be stored. This is a very complex undertaking. Now for compatibility. Manufactured blood would need to be an ABO match for the individual. Remember, we mentioned the different blood types. Manufactured blood would need to be of specific blood types and a match for each individual that is in need of it, or the body will reject it. This can be fatal. This is the very reason why before a blood transfusion can be performed, donor and recipient blood need to be an exact match. Like I mentioned, this is a very complex undertaking and requires very complex stem cells research. Research like this is already being conducted, but with limited breakthroughs using human and mouse stem cells. The breakthrough comes in the form of red blood cells, carrying oxygen but only for a limited time. Nothing as complete as natural human blood at the moment. There is still no substitute. If and when this becomes a reality, it will alleviate the need for blood donations or possibly eliminate it altogether. This is not something that can work or should work. It simply must work. Until this becomes a reality, we help each other by donating blood. Every drop counts. That's it for our video. Thank you for watching.